Welcome back to the Binge Watch Brigade. This week, visiting us, as per normal, is Aaron and John. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Doing great, man. Doing great. This was a very different week for us, honestly. John, I kind of dragged you headlong into a Yu-Gi-Oh-ish world with Aaron, and I would say this was not really what any of us expected whatsoever.
Not really.
Not at all.
My suggestion for this episode was Hikaru No Go, and Hikaru No Go is essentially a story about a kid who finds a Go board in his grandparents' basement because he wants to sell it for some extra cash just because he got his allowance cut off, to which he ends up finding out while cleaning it that there are bloodstains that only he can see on it, and he ends up getting the spirit of a former instructor to the Emperor of Japan who's been trapped in the Go board, now is basically living with him, which I think is very reminiscent of like a Yu-Gi-Oh story arc of like, you know, Yugi has the spirit of the Millennium Puzzle who is Yami within the puzzle that lives with him and makes him better at the game.
Yeah, it's very, very reminiscent of that.
I agree.
Except
I agree.
the spirit Fujiwara no Sai and Yami are nowhere near being similar.
No, nowhere close.
Very
Sai
different
is-
personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Sai is much more of a I don't even know how to describe. He's not necessarily feminine, but he's a very emotional being. Sai is just almost in a way reminiscent of Valdora, of just like, I've been alone and all I want to do is play, and kind of desperate. But in Sai's case a little bit, Hikaru's one of only a select few people in over 1,000 years that have been able to actually see the bloodstains that are on the Go board. So that does, I feel like we haven't gotten there yet, but I do feel like that has something to do with a little bit of foreshadowing. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there have been so many people throughout the show who mention that Hikaru just has this unbelievable just sense of getting better every time he plays, and just there's something about him that strikes everybody as he has more to offer than what he shows.
I guess to some extent that's fair. Like, what do you mean by that?
So, with the fact that there is a little bit where they talked, whenever Hikaru and Sai are actually getting into conversation, where Sai talks about who the last person that he was playing with was, and it was Suzaku who they bring up, who is within this. I actually did not actually look into this part of if Suzaku was actually, I would assume it's real because they've based the whole game on real, games and the game itself. There's a name named after him, the Suzaku Diagonal.
Mm-hmm.
So he brings up the fact that he was alive he was around during Suzaku's time, which is, over 100 years prior to where we're at now, and then it's over 1,000 years since he originally died and was disgraced, essentially, because Sai, our new phantom Go buddy, now who's following Hikaru around, he was put to the test by another master who was in charge of teaching the Emperor of Japan how to play Go. And the guy cheated, and when they basically tried to call each other in and out on it, the Emperor got mad and basically just called it a null. Which was, I guess, not a... It's not something you would actually expect, in my opinion, what the Emperor would do in that situation. I mean, yeah, I guess they're groveling like school children, but at the end of the day, like, you have to have one be kind of disciplined in that matter. Like, I figure you would just start the game over.
Right. That's what I would expect, honestly. Or for him to have them both executed.
Right. But this was again, I would say this was something I wasn't expecting when I walked into it. It was something that I expected to be very similar to, this is basically what happened to us with Blue Lock. We walked in, we didn't have any expectations other than, we don't really like the topic necessarily, but we'll see how it goes. For me, at least. To where this one, I kind of took off
for you
with.
and I, at least.
Yeah. It took off way more for me. So I was actually really excited by the turnaround because I've said before that I don't believe an anime starts until the first 3 minutes. Or not the first 3 minutes, the first 3 episodes. The first 3 episodes are where I really consider that an anime starts because that you need some time to build, you need those story hooks to be able to set in a little bit. So I would say if you haven't really picked up my attention by episode 3, I'm kind of getting out. I would say by episode 7, if you really haven't set a solid plot hook in, I'm probably going to walk away. I don't know. I have way too much ADD. I can't stick around that long for wandering around in the woods on a wild goose chase. I can't do it. But what were your guys' thoughts walking into it?
Well, I thought it was just going to be a boring, like, board game anime. Maybe a little slice of lifey. I don't know. That's what I expected, honestly.
That's fair.
That's also kind of what I expected. It was definitely more than that, but it definitely just wasn't my cup of tea.
I could especially see this one not being too big with you, Aaron, just because of the art style. It being like
The
an
art
older
style wasn't
anime.
even the biggest issue for me.
Really?
I didn't hate the art style once I started watching it. Like it.
Okay.
Like it makes me actually want to give Yu Yu Hakusho a chance.
This makes my heart very happy, and my heart is weeping.
Honestly, I kind of want you to watch, like, the old Gundam, not the original Gundam, but, like, Gundam Wing, because that's what this reminds me more of, art stylish, anyway.
I do have a very important question for you guys. With Sai being a spirit for the game Go, would it be applicable to call him a ghost?
I hate you so much.
I'll see myself out. Sorry, anywho, carry on.
I honestly, going off of the art style too, I really like the music in this show too. Truthfully, I really did.
That's another thing that really reminded me of, like, the Gundam Wing especially. But they were made about the same time, so it kind of makes sense.
I mean, that makes sense. Hikaru No Go is 2006.
Part of it.
Oh, agreed.
Nah, man, I'm totally hooked on the story, man. I am excited to continue watching this one. Truthfully,
I don't think I would have cared as much about the story if the music didn't, like, push me to focus or to feel emotion, Like, especially the moment that hooked me was probably the same moment that hooked Hikaru in the show when he was playing Toya Meijin, Akira Toya's dad, and he finally placed one of the pieces like a normal, like, not like a normal person, but like a normal player places it, and then there was like this dramatic music and everything, and that's what kind of hooked me, because, like, you felt the emotion, you felt his emotion through the way he acted plus the music.
Right. Well, and that was in the end of episode,
I think it was 3.
5.
Was it 5? It might have been 5, actually.
Yeah, that was the end of episode 5, because that's when the tournament happens. That's after the middle school tournament.
Oh, that's right. When they find out he's not even in middle school yet.
Yep.
Which is really funny.
Right. For some of the characters that we met, honestly, Akira is his rival, and that is one of those interactions that I still am joking with about the Yu-Gi-Oh bit, just because Akira is to Hikaru as Kaiba is to Yugi. Like, it truly is that kind of like battle, at least in the beginning. Because in the very beginning, Hikaru walks into a Go salon, which, for those who don't know, a Go salon is actually just a place where you can go and play the game Go. There are other types of salons. There are gambling salons and things like that.
Nail salons, hair salons.
You're a salon.
Your mom's a salon.
Oh, she's a wonderful woman, and you take it back. You take it back.
You know what? Your mother's a hair salon.
Ooh. That would be cool if she owned a hair salon. But we have Akira, who is the son of the current Meijin, who is the like best player overall. Then Sai is the spirit of the puzzle, or I almost said spirit of the puzzle. Holy hell, I'm stuck on this Yu-Gi-Oh thing. The spirit of the essentially Go board. I am curious to see who you guys also actually liked as characters in this show, because I still don't know how I feel about Yuki Matani.
I'm on the fence as well. I think he has potential to be a good character. We'll see, but he's kind of, for lack of a better term, bitchy.
He is super bitchy, but I feel like that's also how you feel about Kimihara.
It's a different kind of bitchy, though.
They are.
Yuki is
He's more whiny.
Yuki makes me want to punch him in the face. Kimihiro is just, dude, just shut up.
Yeah, Kimihara is more of a whiny, I almost feel like, in a way. But I don't know. Kimihara is one of the people that actually gets involved in episode 3 when Hikaru gets invited by his best friend Akari to go to a festival. And he wasn't going to go, and he decided to go and meet her there, and she thought he wasn't actually going to show up, so she just went with some friends. And during the process, this is kind of where you also start to see Hikaru start to learn a little bit more about Go and starting to get more interested, because there's a little demonstration that's going on where Kimihara is essentially putting up challenges from a book for people to be able to go in and try the challenges out, and if they win a prize. And Sai really wants the biggest prize, which is a book. It's a strategy. It's a modern strategy book, because even Sai throughout the show, like the beginning of the show, has started to realize that the game of Go has developed so much since his time that there are things he doesn't quite understand, or moves that would seem surprising, where in his time it would be very surprising to play certain star points within certain parts of the game, or to not get an Atari where you could. So the one big thing that I would say about those, like his development, is actually really cool too. But with the book, he wants to win it, so he's basically just going to give Hikaru the answer, and in the process another guy shows up who I'm actually really sad at this point I think you just aren't going to see anymore. I hope we see more of him. Is Kaga. Kaga's the captain of the shogi team, and he comes in and basically tells Hikaru that Go is worthless, and they start playing. And this is kind of where you start to see Hikaru feel like he wants to play himself a little bit. And then in the process of playing, where Sai is still commanding everything, he gets distracted and then makes the wrong placement of the stone, and they end up losing. But Kaga really, again, this is where I was talking about it earlier, sees this just like super bright talent within him. Yes, the gameplay was Sai, but even during the tournament that Kaga takes him to, he sees that he has potential, but he's messing up a lot, because that's when he's starting to play a little bit more himself. He's not letting Sai play as much.
Right, in which he's literally just starting to play Go, so he doesn't really know almost anything. He learned a little bit from the little class he went to.
Yeah, he was going to a class for a little while. I constantly wonder what would have happened if he wouldn't have been a juvenile child and decided to remove that like bully dude's wig because he's bald. Dumped the stones on the dude's head, and then like got his bowl stuck to the wig. So whenever he removed the bowl, it would remove the wig because the guy was being a dick.
I guess that is one thing that we have to take into consideration when we're talking about annoying characters, right? Is that these kids are in middle school.
Oh yeah, they're very
They're
upfront.
young. They're young, like middle school, high school kids. Like, they're gonna be annoying little shits.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
And then
do you
especially
remember us at that
Hikaru.
age?
Right. Especially Hikaru, because he's even younger at the start.
Oh yeah.
Like, of course they're gonna
He's
be
a
like
sixth
whiny
grader?
and have
Yeah, he's a sixth
attitudes. Like
grader.
they're kids.
Or no. Yeah, sixth grader, yeah.
Yeah, he's a sixth grader in the beginning of the show.
Still doesn't stop me from wanting to slap the shit out of some of them.
Right. That's fair.
Not wrong.
Hypothetically speaking, of course.
In Minecraft.
Yeah, in Minecraft.
So I guess I'll ask you, because normally we don't have very many like characters we don't like that much, but I feel like this one has quite a few we wouldn't like. We don't like that much. I would say, who are your big ones? You're like, man, I really wish this dude just like was not here.
Give me Hero. I'm still on the fence
Really?
with, I'm still on the fence with Yuki though. He's annoying. He's bitchy.
I think Yuki is going to have a decent, like a good character arc, right? There's gonna be some sort of something that endears him to us at some point.
Maybe.
I don't see that happening with Kimi.
No, I think he's just gone.
Like, yeah, he's just done. So like, I don't see. Yeah, I wish he would have been gone sooner.
I don't know about that. I liked both of their characters for the moment where they needed to be. Kimihara was really one of the big dividing factors that like kept him playing Go throughout his middle school career, with going to the high school because of Kimihara and Kaga. That's the high school or the middle school that he ends up going to, and then on top of it, they start up the Go Club. Like his progression wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for Kimihara.
That's fair to keep him around for that, but I didn't enjoy him.
I mean, it's fair, but I mean, he also, you have to figure, is also a teacher for Hikaru a little bit, which I'm still kind of like lightly irritated by the fact that Hikaru had a teacher beside him all the time.
Right.
Like somebody who has so much knowledge, and he just doesn't take advantage of it whenever
Yeah,
he wants to.
he never asked him to teach him stuff. He would just be like, "You do it, or I'll do it."
It's because
It
he's
takes
a kid.
until...
Right.
I mean, yeah. He also wants to be very independent. That's one thing that he really makes very solid from the beginning, is that once he starts playing, he doesn't want anything from Sai. He wants it to be all his game. He wants it to be true to him and him progressing. He doesn't want that. So I kind of understand, because he doesn't want his actions to be overshadowed by Sai's teaching. But I'm glad near the end of the first 25, 26 episodes, well, actually, sorry, it was in the first, at the end of the first 20 episodes, he ends up getting a Go board and actually starting to play with Sai, which you do find out at one point is actually kind of holding him back until Sai can like break him of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I would have never expected that would be a problem. I would have thought it would be, his response was going to be different about how it was, Sai's teaching was actually impacting Hikaru. That was a bit of a surprise for me.
Well, at that point, he was used to just, both sides being offensive and defensive, whereas Sai was just always offensive. So he felt, oh, if I'm going to beat this really, really good player, I have to be defensive. So if I'm defensive with not as good players, I'll just win. But that's obviously not true. So it kind of like, Sai called it fear, but in my mind, it's more of a habit that he needed to break.
I could see that argument. Yep. I could definitely see that.
I just didn't understand why he wouldn't start playing games against Sai sooner.
Well, he didn't have a board, that's why.
I mean, fair.
He still could have played at a Go salon. It's not like he wasn't going. Or
Yeah,
like
but
even
Or it's not like he couldn't
But
have
then he's gonna
borrowed
be
one from like the teacher.
right. But if he plays in the ghost lawn, it's gonna be like he's talking to himself and arguing.
they
with
can
himself.
communicate telepathetically.
Yeah, but he's also a kid.
Say
and
that
forgets
again?
Sometimes.
I was waiting on someone to catch
Say
it
that again?
telepathetically.
I mean, it's kind of fair.
It's telepathically is the way you would say it, but I can't remember where.
No, it's in this case, I think telepathetically makes sense because
Uh-huh.
you've seen him accidentally talk out loud to Sai in the presence of other people, and he just gets
Way
some
too many
weird
times. Dude, that's one thing I will never be able to get over is how stupid Hikaru is when it comes to knowing when to keep his mouth shut. There are so many times throughout the show where I've been just like, bro, don't say it. Come on, don't say it. And then he just keeps going. He goes way farther than I would have ever expected. He dug past his grave and is in China. That man, boy, just does not know how to take a cue to shut up.
You mean like when he said Zelda to Waya?
Exactly. Dude, that was the big one. That was the one where I was like, dude, you need to shut up. Because even whenever he was describing, because in the real world, Hikaru, what, and I think this is up for a little bit of us debating on here, is would you consider Akira still Hikaru's rival or not by the end of the show? In the beginning, absolutely. I would still say that
no, even less so at the beginning because it's straight up Sai in Akira.
Well, but that's I think that's the real rivalry. You know what I mean? Is it's actually Sai
Not anymore,
and Akira.
in my opinion.
It's definitely not anymore, but that's how it was in the beginning.
Right.
But I mean, just for realistic views, Hikaru is the embodiment of Sai. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, so in retrospect, Akira's rivalry with Sai is Akira's rivalry with Hikaru because that's the medium
Right.
for the play.
Right, but that's at the same time, that was one of the big changes of the show when Hikaru's like, no, I'm going to play by myself when he's playing against Akira, and Akira realizes maybe he's not my rival. Maybe I should just
Correct.
go be a pro. And then Hikaru's like, okay, maybe I'm not your rival, maybe you're my rival. Is a weird way to say it, but
Yeah, the role
Right.
kind of got flipped. Like Akira, he played Hikaru and was like, "You're really good," when really it was Sai, and was like, "Okay, I need to be as good as you." And then now it's flipped, and Hikaru's just like, "Guy, I'm chasing after you, Akira, and I'm going to surpass you."
I could see Hikaru eventually catching up and passing Akira, but I see Sai's true rival being Akira's dad. And eventually that's going to happen to where Hikaru is not good enough to beat him, but good enough to beat like anyone else. And then in the final match, Sai is going to be like, listen, I'm going to play this guy.
What if at the
And
end,
that's
it
when the
turns
divine
out
move
that-
happens.
Hear me out. What if at the end you learn that it's actually Hikaru who is Sai's rival?
And he finally beats him.
And
that
Hikaru
releases Sai from-
finally beats Sai using the divine move.
And then Sai sees the divine
Ooh.
mood, and then he's finally able to pass on.
Yeah,
Ooh, I
that's
like
a theory
it.
I have.
All right.
I like
All right,
it.
we're making predictions. I like it.
The bad thing, though, is we're going to have to read at that point because the show doesn't cover everything.
It doesn't. Well, I mean, first manga episode question mark?
Maybe. Depends. Depends how we get through it.
I mean, Jay-Z, you could always just come over and spin around in a circle and then just point.
True. No, I have some other ideas if we do just a manga episode, honestly.
Oh, what would it be?
Kagurabachi, because it's not an anime yet, but it's massively popular.
Okay. One I have not heard of. Now, I will ask, because we haven't discussed this, is manhwa off the table? Or are we allowed to go
Absolutely
with,
not. Let's do it.
I was going to say.
I'm in.
I'm almost a
Okay.
bigger fan of manhwa. Actually, I am a bigger fan of manhwa than manga because it's colored. But there's some really, really, really good manhwa.
Agreed.
Like Solo Leveling.
I'm also a little biased.
Oh, that's fair.
I,
For those who don't know,
being Korean.
Aaron is Korean.
yeah. Oh man, I'm so excited. With this show, honestly, I'm still really trying to figure out how to break this show down in my brain, because it's so different than everything else that I watch. Because John, you and I had this discussion the other day, right? I was talking to you about it, and I was like, dude, it has to be approached in such a different way, because normally when you talk about like big epic fights and battles and things like that, and like, you know, the Frieza Goku fight, or just the Cell saga, you know,
Right.
there's
But
always like these big fights, and this has fights, it has battles, but I would definitely say it's not the same intensity in one aspect, but it's way more intense in another.
It's a battle of intelligence versus a battle of physical prowess.
Right.
Physical muscles.
The thing though, it's a typical shonen, just like all those. It's very, very typical shonen.
It
in
is
that
very
way.
typical battle shonen, just without the flashy magic or the big bazonkas, you know.
True. Facts. I do feel like the biggest, essentially, battles or conflicts that we run into are the first match between Akira and Hikaru. I would say that's like our first like big thing that happens. And then after that, it's a little bit sporadic.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I think to me the next biggest would be when Hikaru, in the middle of the match where he's just kind of messing around, and then Kaga tells him that what's his name? Kimihiro is going to get beat up if they don't win, and then he starts actually playing seriously. That was pretty big.
I like the one with the gambler.
Oh,
And
that-
Yuki.
Yeah, that was good when he reveals that he's not drunk and he's playing with the wrong hand, and he's just I don't know, tricking him,
And then
sharking
you're just like, yeah. So what'd you learn about cheating there, sport?
That's kind of a really cool moment too, where you get to see like the shadier side of Go as well, because those people are betting like big money.
Well, it feels like big money, but it's really not.
I mean, not wrong. Whenever you add a couple extra zeros, things start to get a little confusing.
If
But,
you were to translate it to our dollars, it's like nothing.
I mean, it's like two. If I remember correctly, it's like remove 2 zeros, so
He
like
was-
600
He
yen
was
is like
betting
$6.
what? There was a
10,000 won, or
The-
not won. Yeah, won.
yen.
Not won. Sorry, yen.
That translates to about $68.
Right. So not well. So for a middle school kid, that's a large sum of
Yeah.
money.
That's what I'm saying. Like for
I actually
Hikaru
wanna
to be
know what
like,
the actual translation or
because
whatever it is.
Hikaru even knows he doesn't have the money. He was just convinced he was going to win.
Yeah, $67.59. That's pretty good there.
Aaron, the automatic calculator.
I mean,
You know, you could use that to your advantage.
only in some things.
Let's go to Vegas.
Go to Vegas.
No, I lost too much money there. We don't talk about that.
What do you think about the moment where Hikaru told Akira that he wasn't going to play him anymore? I was kind of confused by that. I'm not even going to lie.
That's a child responding
Did he
to somebody.
Did he say he wasn't gonna play him anymore, or he wasn't gonna play him then?
He wasn't going to play him then because he wasn't going to play him until he felt he was ready.
Right.
I felt
Which
like that was
definitely-
childish, a little bit child. Like the way he did it was a little bit childish, which is to be expected from
Right.
somebody his age.
A more mature way would be like, I'm not ready to play you yet. Give me time, or I'll play you when I'm ready to, when I feel I could potentially beat you. Or
when I
something.
feel like
Instead of
I
be
can
I'm not
give
gonna
you
play
a
you.
game worthy of
Worthy
of your time.
Yeah.
Because like you're acknowledging just how good of a player the other person is, while also acknowledging the fact that you don't measure up currently.
Right. And I love that Hikaru basically has been not floating, just kind of breezing through everything on potential. Like he's not winning a lot of these matches, but people are like, "Oh wow, he's making good moves. He's got a lot of potential. Oh, he's only played for a year. He's got a lot of potential."
Yeah, that is pretty big. Is the amount of time he's been playing for definitely is abnormal for him to be as good as he is.
Yeah, but he's also got the greatest player in history at his side.
In his ear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that he has watched play a lot.
Yeah, but again, he doesn't use size stuff as
He
much
doesn't.
the
He doesn't
later and later on to the show it
use
gets.
him. Right. He doesn't use him, but he uses the experience he got from watching him so much.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Like having somebody in your ear telling you what to do, like is huge. Like let's use video game logic, right? You have an FPS shooter. Let's use a current game that's out, right? Marvel Rivals. You put a low level player, right? And like a bronze player, and you put like a top one of the top ranked players in that person's ear, giving them coaching, giving them live coaching. They're going to far exceed anybody else at that level.
He's literally describing me.
Like,
You weren't carried, you were assisted.
No. I was coached while I was a bronze,
yeah, Jay-Z got
and
live
that helped
coaching,
a ton.
and he went from bronze up to plat 1, almost diamond. Like he's fluctuated between plat 1 and diamond.
Which is wild. I've truly never gotten to in Overwatch I was plat, I think, really high plat. I almost hit diamond. I was gonna say I'm nowhere close in Marvel Rivals.
I mean, you also
Way to
just
go,
don't
Jay.
put the time in that you did in Overwatch, right? Like
That's facts. That's also facts.
if you this translates to everything. If you put time and effort into learning a skill, into learning a game, into learning anything, right? You put the time and effort in to learn that, it will show eventually.
There
There
are
are facts to
things-
this. However, Marvel Rivals is the first game in many a year that has made me want to replace my monitor every other week because I need a new one. So
I don't have that issue.
I
don't
haven't
either.
had that issue in years, and it's just Marvel Rivals.
Do you solo queue?
Don't know why.
Is
It doesn't
when you
matter.
solo queue?
No,
it's when
it
he was
doesn't
playing with
matter.
us.
No, it doesn't matter. Period. It did it when I solo queued. It did it when I'm with you guys. We'd win, and I still didn't have fun.
That's wild to me.
I don't know why, man.
It's probably one of my favorite hero shooters I've played.
It's the only one I like.
Anywho, we're off
no.
topic.
Yeah.
So we're getting off topic again.
Back
go. Let's
to
go
what
back
we're talking
Let's
about.
go back to go.
I can attest
Dude.
that having someone extremely knowledgeable in your ear will make you a better player, even if they're not consistently telling you what to do. But if they're giving you a pointer here and there or something, it helps a ton. So just
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
having Sai there, even if Sai was literally just sitting there, the fact that he knows he's there would boost him. Guarantee it.
Gives him confidence.
Yeah.
It can. There have been times where it has actually not helped strictly just because he feels like it's distracting, because he's trying to play his own game. So there are a few times where he kind of complains at Sai, and I will say I hated Hikaru's attitude towards Akari
Same.
for so long in the show, dude.
He was such a little asshole to her.
I know. All she wanted to do was support him. And I mean, the one lady at the Go class actually calls her out on whether or not she has a crush on Hikaru, which I still don't actually know. Normally, I would think that she's kind of like the love interest and they're just really young. So they're not really dating. They're just kind of spending like every day, all day together.
Really close friends. Like,
Right.
Not every boy-girl relationship has to be romantic.
Correct.
Right. Well, so earlier when you asked about characters I didn't like, I almost said anytime Hikaru's around Akari, Hikaru.
Facts. Straight facts.
Yeah, because he's a little asshole around her. Until around episode 20 or so, maybe a little before that. He kind of cools off on that and is actually friendly to her.
Even like episode 18 and 19, he was kind of still a little bit of a little shit to her.
Right.
I just don't really like whenever he was complaining about her joining the Go team. It's like, dude, let her join.
Go.
Except for he's been to a tournament and girls are playing Go.
It's the same mentality though with
Correct.
video games. There can't be girl gamers. Girls don't know how to game. What are you talking about? Come on, guys, get with the program.
Yeah, it's a very immature thing to think and say, and yeah.
There are a lot of different 9-dans in Go that are actually like super good, and they're very, very, very talented women. So that was like kind of like I'm like, come on, bro, let her play. She wants to play.
I didn't even think about that till just now. The very first person he plays as an Insei was a girl, and she kicked his ass.
Yes, she did.
So it was kind of fitting. And maybe, just maybe, that's why he started being nicer to Akari.
Could be.
It's not something they talked about. They really breezed over the fact that he lost to a girl. They never said anything about it. But his attitude towards her changed.
When it
You're
comes
not wrong.
to the macho man mentality, there is nothing more humbling than getting beat by a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of needed sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It's really funny to watch macho the macho man personality disappear though, and they change after getting humbled.
Right. And in his case, he got super humbled right away because he just kept losing.
Right.
I think the games with Sai may have given him a false sense of confidence.
Yeah, it was both confidence and, as I said, fear. But I think it's more of a habit. Yeah.
Yeah, Sai calls it out as it's just fear because he's constantly having to deal with Sai making aggressive moves.
Yeah. Which was a big deal when Akira was doing that to I can't remember what rank that guy was. To the pro, that his first pro match, he was just aggressive. Ogata, that's it. Or no, that's one of his mentors. He was just being aggressive and aggressive and aggressive, and he lost because of it. But Hikaru might have saw that as him like challenging.
He did.
Him. Yeah,
he did. Yeah, he started to see it because he even said whenever he walked in the room, because he just finished his match at the Ensei, like whenever they were examining his game at the end of that. Mm-hmm. So when in this section, you can be an amateur, or you can be an Ensei, or you can be a pro. Enseis essentially are the pros in training. You have to pass a test to get in. It's a lot of money. It's like a big deal. You have to maintain grades and you in school, and you have to deal with playing Go all the time at a really high level and examining and going over it. And it's kind of funny because Akira doesn't have to go through that process. One, because his dad's a grandmaster and is unbelievable, and he's been training with him forever. But along with that he just goes straight to being a pro from being an amateur. And Hikaru feels like really to catch up to Akira, he has to go through this process. Like it's his first like big step. So I'm a really, really big fan of this show with like just character progression. Honestly, I really do think that Hikaru does change a lot. I do feel like his mentality changes a lot. He's a lot more upbeat. There are moments where even Sai is having a hard time keeping a level head on certain things, and Hikaru notices just, hey, we gotta keep our head up. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. We gotta keep things moving. So even Hikaru's just like little tendencies change quite a bit. He's still an immature child. He still is opening his mouth where he shouldn't. But I do really like the progression of him a lot.
I want to say, I think my favorite like arc so far of the show has been the internet arc, where
Much agreed.
Sai got to play a lot, and everybody's like, "Who's this Sai? Who's Sai? I want to know who Sai is."
Oh yeah.
If
And the one person he talks to ended up being Waya. He's like strong, aren't I?
That was the big moment where he, as soon as he said the word Zelda, well, dude.
But his cover up lie was pretty good, and Sai
is
calls him
still
out for it.
Yeah, Sai's like, you have become a very good liar.
Oh. Like
Yeah,
all in all,
it's-
I enjoyed the show, right? I just it didn't grab my attention. Like it had a hard time holding my attention.
I feel like it held my attention decently, but it won't be anywhere near one of my favorite animes. I guarantee you that.
Like
But I do enjoy it.
there were some episodes, right, where I was super engrossed in it and I was like hyper focused on it. And other episodes I was just like this is dragging on. How much longer is left? It feels like it's been going on for an hour, and I look down, oh, it's only been 10 minutes. And I'm just like, oh, it's gonna be background noise while I do something else.
It's fair, I guess. I enjoyed it. So a couple things I wanna see in the future for this anime. I kind of want to see. I want to see what Waya becomes of. Because why would they make him more of a prominent character if he's not going to do anything? I kind of want to see like Hikaru pushing him to become a pro, finally passing the test. And then
that would be
another
really
thing,
cool.
Another thing, I really want to see Ogata play.
That's something that I feel like we haven't gotten a chance to do yet. That's something long overdue, truthfully. This is definitely in the rewatch, regret or recommend, because I feel like I'm gonna put that as one of our options for sure. Yeah, it's rewatch, regret or recommend. I'm gonna put this as a recommend, but I don't think I'm gonna really want to rewatch the whole thing unless I get in like a real like thing to watch it, because there's a lot of things that happen even just in the background of things that you don't notice at first that you end up coming to like full circle. Like you said, they added a character in who really hasn't done like a ton. He's been in the background, he's been there a lot, and he's been an observer, and you get to hear his thoughts, so he's constantly in the mix of things, but they haven't gone any farther than that.
Right. I feel like the next arc or the next couple arcs will focus a lot on him.
See, I don't know if I could recommend this show.
Really?
Like, don't get me wrong. It is I would say give it 5 episodes. I'd recommend it, but I'd say give it 5 episodes, and if it's not your thing, it's not your thing.
Correct. That's where I got semi hooked as well. But yeah, I definitely don't regret watching it. I at this point, I don't know if I'd rewatch it.
I would
There
not
has to
rewatch
be
it.
some big stuff that comes if I to make me want to rewatch it.
I would not rewatch it. I don't regret watching it. I recommend watching at least the first 5 episodes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Recommend watching the first 5. If you don't like it, then go ahead and quit.
If you,
Because
I will
don't
definitely
think it
agree
really
though.
gets a lot better. Like it does get interesting, but like it the first 5 episodes I feel like kind of are a good measure for setting the pace for the rest of the anime.
I feel like that's a good judge for most anime. Some are first episodes, some are like third episodes, some are like 51 episodes. But
I don't know if that. I think that was a jab at me.
maybe.
You know what show it is too.
Oh yeah, it's the one I bring up every time.
I know. I'm honestly excited for when we record that episode because I'm gonna let my feelings be heard on that one.
Wait, which one?
Over MHA.
Oh no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were, dude. We'll talk about that on another episode. But man, I don't.
I was talking about One Piece. I was in from the beginning, but if you don't get to 51 and like it, there's no way you'll ever like it.
That's what you told me. Is if I make it to
And-
51 and I'm not like hooked from that point, then
Yes, I know 51's a lot, but there is a lot of good stuff that happens. But something happens in 51 that is, I was ready to die for you, Luffy. But anyway, I digress.
No, I would. So this is definitely not. This is not like a high one for us. This is kind of our lowest ranked one so far.
Probably
There wasn't.
This
Probably,
wouldn't
which kinda
make my
makes
top
sense.
10. This wouldn't make my top 15.
I don't know that this would make my top 50.
I think this was good to experience one time. But it
I do want to
definitely-
continue watching, obviously, but
Yeah, I want to finish it.
I don't know if I can.
It's not that bad.
No, so I lived up to our name, right? I binged like
we did.
15
We all
episodes
did, but
in
you did
a
the
single
most.
night. Stayed up till it wasn't even a single night though. I stayed up till 5 a.m. Right, woke up at noon, and then I continued watching.
if I was forced to do that with any anime, I'd probably not enjoy it either.
I could do it. I could do it with Slime. I could do it with Mushoku Tensei. I could do it with pretty much any of my top 10. I could binge it no problem.
Oh yeah, you mean like the 5 times that I've probably watched Hunter x Hunter
Yeah,
all the way through?
that's wild.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This one, honestly, I think it was decent. I'm glad I watched it. I cannot wait to finish it, honestly, because I'm very curious to know where the story goes in the long run. But this was not one that got me like super excited for it. It wasn't one that really like drove me to watch it and deep dive into it. Granted, it was really cool what happened, but I don't know. It just doesn't have that grab factor. I'll agree with Aaron on that one. It just doesn't have that grab factor for the most part. There are some episodes that left on such a cliffhanger. I'm like, I gotta watch the next one.
That's fair.
But then that one, it would be like 2 or 3 episodes where really not really too much happens. A little bit of character development, a lot of plot drive, and then like one really big thing will happen.
it was just a
so
very
that was-
slow burn.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're in the vibe for that, you know what I mean? Like that's something a little different, but if you're feeling something fast paced, if you feel like it's going to have a lot of like big moments in it, it has some, it does, but it's definitely not, it's not a super adrenaline pumper whatsoever.
If you're looking for an anime to have on like while you do other things, I think this one is really good for that, if I'm being honest.
I agree.
Jay-Z was doing better in NCAA when he was watching it.
That's because I was actually focusing more on Hikaru No Go than I was at the game, so it was kind of helping me not
Overthink.
not overthink and not get angry.
Well, let me ask you guys this: after watching this, would you play Go?
I'm kind of interested. I think it's a little too intricate, but I would at least like to kind of like learn how to play maybe.
So fun fact
I-
for those of you wondering, there is a game on Steam for $6.50 called Just Go, and it is an instructional Go online thing with online multiplayer and single player. Just in case you were curious, I did some research because I was curious.
May have to look into this.
I mean, I figured since we were watching a show about a game, I felt like I should know more about the game. So now my YouTube algorithm is just screwed because it's just a lot of Go theory and explanations. It's wonderful.
That's good. I think
No, I feel like I would definitely want to play though. I feel like I would not mind having a Go board in my house with really nice stones.
I got
But
some
my
nice
problem would be
stones
is-
you could hold on to.
Hey, got him. Damn. All right, fair. Bring him over.
They're yellow. I hope that's okay.
That's fine. But I feel like it would be something that I would have in my house that I would put up more for decoration because nobody knows either what it is or how to play. And I feel like it would be something I would use like once every decade because I might convince somebody to play it every now and then. There are a few friends that I feel like would be like, oh, this is a board game that I can learn. Yes, because it's just a board game in general. I will play this. But I definitely have, for the most part, I feel like nobody who would really want to play on a regular basis to any degree. And by regular basis, I even mean within a few months of each other.
yeah.
I
So,
think
my
with
final.
like, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because
I think with like Steam things though, I think it's really cool. Like, we could do the online Go that Hikaru was doing in Hikaru No Go. Play
Right.
against
I
other
mean,
people.
I'm not against it, man. I mean, I don't know if any of us are going to make our name Psy right off the bat, but
nah.
Nah,
but-
do Akira
no.
Toya, dude. What are you talking about?
Right.
the Kaiba of Go.
The Kaiba of Go. All right, so
But
my final thoughts and recommendations. Watch the first 5 episodes. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Don't waste your time if you're not in by then.
I agree. I'll be really excited to start that next one. Jay-Z, you picked a good one.
So this next one, it's for a little bit more adult of an audience. I think it's gonna. Have you watched Black Lagoon, Aaron?
I have.
That is what we're watching. Is Black
I'm
Lagoon?
so excited.
Right. So one of my top favorite characters, Revy,
I was about to say.
is one of the main characters of this. But it is for a little more mature audience. I think Nick's gonna get hooked from episode 1.
Ooh.
Do you really think so?
I do.
That's a bold statement. That's a
Dude,
bold
that's-
statement.
I think he's going to.
I don't think you're
There
wrong.
have only been
But that's a bold
And if-
there have
if
only
he
been a
doesn't-
few that have done that.
If he doesn't, I don't know that he's gonna like it.
If he doesn't, I get to nut tap you.
Fair.
Him or me? Because I'm not consenting to this if it's
Him.
me. Okay.
And JC said fair, so that was him consenting. You guys heard it.
Halloween party, be ready.
That's forever from now.
You don't think I'll remember this?
I figured we'd hang out sooner than that.
I mean, I was probably just
Hope
gonna.
so anyway.
I was probably just gonna drive down to your house the minute I heard.
drive that long drive.
Yeah, the minute I hear that Jim Bob isn't hooked, I'm driving to your house. I'm nut tapping you.
I'm just gonna post it in the Discord. Just dip, don't like it, and I'm gonna be on episode like 7 or 8.
As he's waiting for the next episode to start, he just says that.
Right?
He's like, "Oh, don't like it. I hate it."
Just so I get nut tapped.
Correct.
What are friends for, right?
Worth.
But I'm kind of excited. I really like it. It's been a while since I watched it, so I don't remember everything. So it's going to be nice to watch it again.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
for
I'll
that
be
one.
excited to go over this one. This is one that I've been looking forward to, so I'm really excited about that. So tune into that next episode. Check us out. Appreciate anybody who stops in and listens to this ragtag group of idiots talking about Japanese animation and eventually, hopefully, literature.
Remember, tell your friends. Be a
Or,
friend. Tell a friend.
or don't. You don't like don't take everything we say for gospel. You know. But we'd appreciate
Don't
it.
forget to
Absolutely
like,
not.
subscribe, hit that little bell down there.
Whoa! I don't think we're on the right app for that.
Not yet. But that's the spiel.
All right.
Wait, we're not on OnlyFans? What the fuck?
OnlyPants?
All right.
What?
All right. Last thing. It's time to go.
Hell
Oh,
yeah,
get outta
I'm
here.
in. I'm so in.
Get out of here.
Oh, thanks for the session, you guys. Have a great one. Tune us in next time, 2 weeks from now, 2 more weeks, and then we get to be in that Black Lagoon. Thanks a lot, guys. Peace out.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Deuces.